Hi guys. So not feeling great, but I wanted to go over this because I feel like it's super, super important now. I need to address that I am in no way a forensic astrologer. I am not an astrologer. I am just tapping in and just learning this stuff. So everything that I tell you is going to be reverbed from the person I am working with. She is working with me anonymously on this stuff, and so she is just trying to help. We are both just trying to find Elijah, and so that is the whole reason that we are talking about astrology and forensic astrology. And this is something I'm going to learn to do on my own one day. But as of now, I am just a little baby that's just like trying to learn, and I'm confused as well. But so I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I know how, just from what she showed me. I will probably leave stuff out, but I felt like it was important because this way it'll give people places to search. So yeah. And again, people will be found when and if and how they're meant to be found. But um I'm just going to show you this, and I'm also going to show you where actually we had mapped out um, where the blanket was actually found, but we did not extend the lines that much because we were just focusing on Elijah. Um, I'll talk more about that when I get to that line. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and again, like I said, I'm just reverbing what I've been told. So we're just hoping that this would help. What we're doing is we're taking the astrology, we're mixing it with the readings, and we're saying what makes the most sense. So, um, it's not for sure, but this is sacred geometry, and it's been used for decades, and it does align with our soul contracts, our blueprints, all of that, and it's about 90% um, accurate in regards to where the lines actually go. So we should be focusing on where the lines go. I know I said expand. You can expand a little bit, but they're usually probably right on point. You're going to see that in regards to what I show you about that where that evidence was found. And we don't even know if any of these other lines are hitting any other evidence or not. I don't know what is up with the cats right now. Okay. So let me hold on. All right. So this is the best that I can do. Um all right. Um so I guess I'm still on here, and I guess probably you guys can hopefully see my thing. Okay, so we have the blue line here is the moon. It's 17 degrees Cancer. It rules the mother, the child, the home, and a familiar area. So, this is the most likely to rule Elijah because it does rule children at 5 and under. Since he's 3, this would be more than likely where he would be at. Now, what's interesting about this, it does go out. We did extend the line so we could see more. So it does go out into the lake. Um, but it also goes right here. Um, so it does go through this wooded area into the river. Um, what's interesting is last night on the EVPs, Ivy came in twice, and um, Smokey came in twice. And I went to the map afterwards, and there was an Ivy in this area down here, and there's a Smokey down here too in the same area. I thought it was interesting. 13 and 14 also came in, so I went around here and found a 13th Street. Now I'm not saying he's on 13th Street, but when I hit 13th Street, it's around this area over here on the others. It's in the residential area on the blue opposite this blue line. So there is a 13th Street and a 14th Street. The 13th Street, as soon as I hit that, I got an immediate pain in my head. What's interesting is you walk across that street and you end up here in this forested area. So definitely we feel that this area here, this wooded area here, along this area here, into the river here. And again, these lines are 90%, so you can expand out a little bit, but they're usually probably direct. And I'll explain that. You'll see whenever I get to where the blanket was found. So I find this pretty interesting. And also what we found interesting and why she also agrees with this is that everything encapsulates, everything I've gotten encapsulates this area. Look, there's elementary schools right here. The Riverside Park is right here. So it also goes through the Riverside Park, which I got on a list. Like Woodland, I got on a list in 2018. Sorry, I don't know why it always moves on me. And Riverside I did as well. So this is where it crosses. Okay. If people were playing in this park, that could be why I'm getting the screaming children. If he's in this river somewhere and he's kind of stuck in the river now, it could be possibly that he's now out into the lake. I realize that it will be harder to see that. Harder to find him that way. But the other area was here, like I was saying, 13. The 13th Street's around here somewhere, and I know that there's a church there, so that's interesting. And I think I don't know how they would have got over here, but it could be, this area where this moon line goes through, this marshy area, significant. Any area off, these aren't far from a road. So this blue line is the moon line, and it's more than likely where he's at. So, and that includes being in the water. Okay. That includes being in the water, unfortunately. And a couple years ago in Susan, I had gotten where two rivers collide. Considering she was just found not long ago, I find it interesting now we're in two rivers, and here is where they collide at. So I find that kind of interesting. So it does move out into the lake. Whether they dropped him off at the lake or they dropped him somewhere else and he ended up in the lake, that's a possibility. Again, this moon line is super freaking important. Okay, no lines that are relevant to where his body would be go the other direction. These are all relevant lines according to her. Okay. Then we have the Uranus line, which is 19 degrees Taurus. It rules animals, natures, woodlands, forage, trees, and money. That's only some of the stuff it rules, but this is some, if I remember right, she said, I can't remember. Oh, it's between these two, Uranus and Jupiter, but I think it was shocking events, was what she said for that. But they're both green because they both play an important role. Jupiter brings a little bit of luck, more likely to find a body there. It also brings surprises and whatnot. So 9 degrees Taurus as well. It's going through the woodland area. Okay. And you would search along, where these lines are. Because again, this is sacred geometry. It's been around for a really long time. And that includes into the river. That includes, the other side. But again, more than likely his moon line. Okay. This is why I can't leave this area, guys. Like, all of his lines are going in this direction. All of the lines that could mean something. All right. So then we have, now we're getting to the part where here's the evidence. Okay. It is Chiron, 16 degrees Aries, head wound, gunshot, knife wound, and fire is what it rules. So that would be a piece of evidence that had something to do with the crime. So if we follow it out, because I had her extended out, look where it goes. It literally goes right through. Stop. It literally goes right through this Goodwin and right this area. I'm pretty sure I have the right area now. I do apologize. In the live before, I had the wrong area. It happens. I was given the wrong information. I hope this is the right information now. So this is, you could check this area, which I feel like the whole area has been searched really well. It wouldn't hurt to search this area, considering there might be something else having to do with the crime here. I find this interesting that there's airport here. because in Quinton's second reading, I kept going through the woods into the marsh and reference to planes flying over. So, excuse me, I don't know if the planes fly over this area. It's very possible. But I mean, this ruling, like DNA, things like that, that's what this rules. This rules something involving the crime. So, evidence. We just didn't concentrate on that before. We didn't realize it. Um, we were looking for Elijah, not for evidence, so I didn't have her extend the lines, but last night I asked her if she would extend the lines. So, also, one more thing, I wanna go back. I wanna go backwards for a minute. Um, this Jupiter line, that's interesting because I was here yesterday. It does go all the way out to the medical, Monatoic, whatever area, but I really honestly feel like we should stay on the moon line, but still all of these important lines tend to be in the woodland area and match the reading. Um, so as you can see, the Chiron line, which again rules head wound and whatnot. So there's probably DNA on that blanket. Um, Probably blood or something else. It was involved. It was near the crime. And also we feel like because he presented with it, now it doesn't mean like, again, he had it with his body. Like I tell you guys, you can manifest anything you want on the other side. He can manifest having a blanket on the other side, but he presented with it because it's going to be important in, connecting them with the DNA and whatnot. That's why it was so important to find it. And yes, they found it a while ago, but we had this charted a long time. I had these lines out. We just didn't extend them because, again, we weren't looking for that at the time. So it's still there. It's still validated. It shows how the forensic astrology works, and all of that. So I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty freaking amazing right there. All right. Because everybody tells me I'm crazy. So, um, then we have the ascendant line, which does rule the victim. So it does rule the victim. It's a 4 degrees Aries, so fire, violence, masculine, and aggression. Um, so I have people say, "Oh, the mom did it." The guy's all in the chart of doing it. So, and that's what I saw. The mom is complacent and involved in the crime and involved in the cover up, and the fact that she sent him there. But it comes across as someone that was watching him. That was a male figure. This is all masculine energy, the Aries. Okay. Cancer would be more feminine energy. This is from my understanding. So hope I'm explaining and understanding that right. So the ascendant line would also be kind of an area of interest to look into because it does rule the victim, but he is young, so it wouldn't necessarily rule him, but it could. So this would be another area. And I've posted this in the group and on the community page. Um, so see, it goes right through woodland again. And I noticed, interestingly enough, that there's some sand over here and a what do you call it? Field. So, I mean, it does rule the victim, the ascendant. So that would be interesting. It does go out this way. And you can always extend these lines to go out further, but I don't think he's any further. I think he's close to the house. I think that's why they're trying to draw attention. And if you guys remember in the very first reading, I said that there would be evidence scattered. It's not where he's going to be. It'll be opposite of where he is. And it seems like I'd be interested where the other evidence is, if there is any, because it'd be interesting if it was any of these places on these lines or any of the other lines. But that did come in the reading. Now we have the Saturn line, which is 8 degrees Pisces. It rules water, drugs, illusions, flooding, mental illness. So sometimes this can actually be the body. But we have a hard time thinking that because it doesn't match with the readings. I could be completely wrong. And again, the moon line is more likely because he's a child. But Saturn can rule bodies. But this one tends to go out to some random farm. I don't know if that's her favorite farm or around her favorite farm, but I wonder if it kept going. If it would extend it out, it would kind of go right by the Serenity Lake. Huh. Does she know about that reservoir, I wonder? So this would be another areas of interest, I think. I didn't notice that it went out to She said extend it to a random farm, but it looks like if you extend it out. Oh, look at that. I didn't notice this before. I wonder if that's a crane. There's piles of sand. I wonder if there's a crane there. When I mean crane, I don't mean the birds. I mean like the crane. Isn't this where she used to work? Isn't this where the Ring of Fire is? So if not in Woodland, I would say here. This is the next option. Because it also matches. Which, if you extend the line out, okay? If you extend the line out, I can't. She didn't make it to where I could extend the line. It goes right through here. Fuck. I don't think I can do a line. Oh. I don't think I can't. I think it says I don't think I can add to this. So if we extend this line out, that's interesting. She said it went into a random farming area, but look at this. And Saturn can rule bodies. So this will be another area of interest. The moon line's important. The Saturn line's important. So woodland's important. Maybe he's not at woodland or in the lake. Then this is another area of interest I see at the Serenity Lake. That's interesting. I didn't notice that before. That it goes right. It would cross this river right here. Hold on, let me see. Because I have went up here before I knew where the Ring of Fire was. I ended up going up and around. And then someone was like, oh, the Ring of Fire's there. And so I went back. And I was like, holy crap, I was just here. So if we extend this line a little bit more, right here, it would go, because I did go this way multiple times. And there is piles of sand and whatnot. You know, it does lead to this area. It would kind of go by the reservoir. So that's interesting. Because she knows that area. So getting a headache, but now I don't know if it's from. So because, you know, this is, I think, where the Ring of Fire is. It looks familiar. So actually, like I said, I accidentally ended up this way, and then someone told me. So Serenity Lake, if you extend this line out, it's gonna go over here somewhere. So maybe into the river or really close, this area right here. So, ooh, is my line still there? I don't know what I just did. Yep. Oh, that's what people were talking about. So it would go this way and into the reservoir area and all those woods over there. So that's very interesting. I didn't see that before because look at, there's the sand and stuff. So the sand and stuff is interesting because I did see that. So just saying. But, you know, it's either going to be this area or it's going to be woodland and in the water. Okay. So and, you know, and then the Ascendant, like I said, it does rule a victim, but he's kind of young for that. But it can rule the, I think the perp. His rules a victim, but so this area too. Okay. All right. So now we're looking at it 3D, which I didn't know I could do, and I don't know how I did it. So we have this moon line right here, again, through this woods, which I found was weird, that 13th Street, I had a freaking headache. Again, moon line, sorry about that, is represented children 5 and under. It does go out into the lake. The elementary school there is a park there. I don't know. And again, you have these other 2 lines that can bring shocking discoveries and other things. Hold on, I need to get that from my dog. So, if anybody wants to search, these would be kind of the areas I would suggest. Again, the moon line, these 2 lines, which these aren't most likely going to be where he is, but again, it brings luck and shocking discoveries. Then we have this line, which was the evidence that was found. We have his ascendant line, which it wouldn't hurt to search that ascendant line. And then we have the Saturn line that again can rule bodies. He's kind of young for that. Like it's more usually the moon line, but it wouldn't hurt to extend this out and go right here. I wish I could extend it. I think she made it to where I can't change it, but yeah, I don't think I can. So, yep, this area, which makes sense because she used to live over there. So it's very possible he would be wooded or water right here, which this could be. Let me see, because it is next to a road where I saw cops standing inside a tree line pointing somewhere. So that's interesting because the road does run along a tree line and then the river. So those are the areas I would concentrate the search on, if that makes sense. Okay. So, yep. That's what we feel from talking and everything. So I hope all that makes sense. So I would, people that want to search this, those are the areas I would search. Again, this is based on sacred geometry. This is forensic astrology. It's not 100%, but 90% about on those lines right there. We don't have really anything else to go by. Both of those areas kind of match my readings. So, I just needed to, even though I wasn't feeling good, I needed to put it out because I feel like if people wanting to search somewhere or needing to search somewhere, this is where we need to focus. And I hope I explained it right. Again, I'm just a baby learning this. We're literally just trying to re-explain to you guys what she explains to me, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot because I can't remember yesterday. So hopefully I'm explaining everything right. I tend to learn things better when someone talks to me rather than reading it, but we'll get there. So thank you so much for being here. As always, take care of yourself and please be kind to each other in an everyday life.